Johnny Talk Sports here with my Week 4 NFL predictions. Last week was a really ugly week, only going 8-8. It's only 50% accuracy, but I promise I'm going to respond with some Week 4 picks. I'm going to try to aim for all 16, but the goal is to get at least 13, because my record so far this year is 12. So I'm hoping I beat that already. I want to get 13. Let's see if I got 13 winners this week. Let's start off with Thursday Night Football. The Chicago Bears versus the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to pick the Green Bay Packers in this one. I just feel like the Bears are a little bit overconfident right now after beating the Steelers in overtime. At least Jordan Howard got back to his groove. I just don't know that. I'm just not sold on the Bears offense led by Mike Glennon. I'm not sold on Mike Glennon at all. I'm sold on the running game. I'm not sold on anything else. That's all I'm sold about on Chicago. Their defense is pretty decent, but I'm not sold on it completely. I'm picking the Packers to dominate this matchup. Although I think it may be a low-scoring game toward the beginning, but I feel like the second half will be all Aaron Rodgers. Next, we have the New Orleans Saints versus Miami Dolphins. This game is going to be played in London. I'm going to pick the New Orleans Saints to win this matchup. I think the Dolphins are a little bit too defeated ever since their loss to the Jets. I think this is going to carry over in this matchup. I think the Saints are going to win this matchup because the Saints have Willie Snead coming back from his 3-game suspension. That gives Drew Brees another target to throw to. Brandon Coleman's been stepping up for the Saints during the suspension. Michael Thomas has been stepping up during the suspension. Those two in particular have been stepping it up. The Saints got 3 different running backs in Alvin Kamara, Adrian Peterson, and Mark Ingram. I just don't know how those 3 running backs are going to work, but I think all of them are going to see a significant amount of carries in this matchup, and I'm picking the Saints to win. The Buffalo Bills versus the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons and the Chiefs, the only 2 teams that are 3-0 at this point in the year. I'm going to pick the Falcons in this match to go 4-0. The Bills may not have not allowed a passing touchdown yet this year. That's going to change. Matt Ryan's throwing 4 of them in this ball game. I think Atlanta blows out Buffalo. Bills don't have a chance in this one. Next, we have the Cincinnati Bengals versus Cleveland Browns. This is a game where somebody's got to win. 2-0-3 teams, but I'm picking the Bengals in this one. I feel like I'm a little bit more sold on the Bengals right now than I am the Browns. Because the Bengals at least showed some life on offense with their new offensive coordinator. Joe Mixon was getting a lot of carries in that matchup. I feel like Joe Mixon's going to have another great week. I think he'll be a difference maker in this matchup. I think he's going to get more carries than last week. He'll see the field more often. I will pick the Bengals. Now, the Los Angeles Rams versus the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I feel like I got to pick some upsets this week, and I think this is one I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick the Rams over the Cowboys. I know I said to not buy into the hype of the Rams, but the Rams did start off 3-1 last year, and I think I like them to start 3-1 this year. I'm not completely sold on the Cowboys yet because they played the Arizona Cardinals on Monday Night Football, and they're a team that's kind of depleted with the loss of David Johnson. They're right now face of the franchise, and I'm picking the Rams in this one. I think Todd Gurley has another big game. I think Jared Goff, I think he's going to surprise people in this matchup. The Detroit Lions and Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to pick the Lions in this matchup. I feel like they're going to have a chip on their shoulder after last week. They feel like they should have won that game, but the rules are the rules. I think this is going to carry over. Even though the Minnesota Vikings had a dominating win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week, I'm just more sold on the Lions. I just think they're a really underrated squad this year. I think this momentum from last week is going to carry over to this one. Tennessee Titans and the Houston Texans. I'm picking the Titans in this one. I mean, the Texans almost pulled off the upset against the Patriots last week, but the Tennessee Titans are coming off a big victory against the Seahawks. I think they carry that momentum into this matchup against the Texans. Next are the Carolina Panthers and New England Patriots. I'm picking the Patriots in this one. I think the Patriots, they're coming off a humble victory, a game that they almost lost, but they pulled it out in the end. I think this is a kind of a similar game. I think we're going to see an offensive battle in this matchup, really high-scoring ball game, but I think the difference is going to be in the passing game. The Panthers are uncertain if Kelvin Benjamin is going to play, and they already have Greg Olsen out for at least the next 8 weeks. I'm picking New England. Next are the Jacksonville Jaguars and New York Jets. This is kind of another upset I'm picking. I'm picking the New York Jets in this one to beat the Jaguars. I just think the Jets have momentum after last week's victory. I mean, a lot of people said they were tanking. I mean, I thought included. But I do think they probably end up getting 3 or 4 wins by the end of the year. I think they're good. This is one of the 4 wins they get over Jacksonville. The Jaguars maybe had a dominating victory against the Ravens last week, but that was in London. And London is a neutral site, and anybody can win a neutral site. I'm picking New York to beat Jacksonville. Next are the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Baltimore Ravens. The Steelers coming off an overtime loss against the Chicago Bears. The Baltimore Ravens coming off a humiliating 44-7 loss to the Jaguars last week in London. I'm picking the Steelers to recover. I think last week's game is going to be in Baltimore's minds a little bit. The 44-7 embarrassment. I'm picking the Steelers to recover in this ball game. Next are the New York Giants and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm picking the Giants to pull off the upset in this one. I just feel like Tampa Bay might be a little bit depleted after last week's game. Odell Beckham's now at 100%, 2 touchdowns last week. They almost beat the Eagles, but they lost on a 61-yard field goal at the end of regulation. And I think the Giants play with desperation. I think they pull off the upset. Next, the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm picking the Eagles in this one, although the Chargers will play with some desperation. I just think this is going to be too much for the Eagles. I'm looking for Wendell Smallwood to get some carries with Darren Sproles being out for the year. And the Garrett Blount hasn't been as effective in the running game so far this year as we thought. So him and Corey Clement are going to get a significant amount of carries in this ball game. San Francisco 49ers versus Arizona Cardinals. I'm picking the Arizona in this matchup. Although the 49ers had a chance to beat the Los Angeles Rams last Thursday night, I just feel like Arizona's going to be the better team in this matchup. I just feel like that passing game is going to be a huge difference in this matchup. I'm picking Arizona. Next, we have Oakland versus Denver. Now, the Raiders were humiliated on Saturday Night Football last week, and the Broncos had an upsetting loss against the Bills. But I'm picking Denver to recover. They're back in the Mile High. That home crowd's going to be behind them, and I think Denver's going to win this matchup. Next, we have the Sunday night game of the Indianapolis Colts versus Seattle Seahawks. The Colts are coming off a win against the Cleveland Browns, and Seattle is coming off a loss against the Tennessee Titans. But with Seattle being back in the 12th man, I feel like the 12th man is almost invincible. And I'm picking the Seahawks to pull off this victory. And finally, the Monday night game between the Washington Redskins and Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I'll tell you the truth, I almost picked the Washington Redskins, although we're going to be in for a big matchup in the running game. Chris Thompson for the Redskins, Kareem Hunt for the Chiefs. 2 great running backs. Probably 2 of the most underrated running backs so far this year, statistic-wise. But I'm picking the Chiefs in this one. I just think the home field in Arrowhead is going to play a huge difference in this ball game. I'm picking the Chiefs to win this ball game over the Redskins. I just feel like the secondary for Kansas City will be a difference in this matchup. The Redskins did great last week, but last week was in the past, and we got to focus on this week. So those are my picks this week. I'm picking the Packers, Saints, Falcons, Bengals, Rams, Lions, Titans, Patriots, Jets, Steelers, Giants, Eagles, Cardinals, Broncos, Seahawks, and Chiefs all winning this week. Like and subscribe to the channel. Comment your thoughts, my picks down below. Share this with your friends and family. I will see you next time. Have a great night, everybody.